Hi, I'm Marley Hefner, and I'm going to tell you why you should read more. According to the PEW Research Center, 27%, more than a quarter of Americans, haven't even tried to read a book in the last year. They haven't even opened a book. Reading is a fundamental part of learning in life. Americans need to read more as it will lead to a positive impact on their life. Reading at least a little more every day can help reduce stress, build cognitive functions in the brain, and even make you a more creative and empathic person. One of the main problems that Americans face daily is stress. Reading can significantly reduce stress levels. I used to read a ton as a kid and a young teen, and I was never stressed out. I stopped reading as I got older, and I got more and more stressed. Since the coronavirus quarantine started, I've started reading again to combat my stress, and it's worked. According to the University of Sussex, reading for as little as 6 minutes can reduce stress up to 68% based on a person's heart rate and muscle tension. This is a more effective way of reducing stress than even listening to music or taking a walk. Reading is a good distraction from whatever you are stressing about. You can lose yourself in a good fantasy book or even a fascinating article you find online. While being a tool to distress, reading can also keep your brain healthy. Reading helps to build up the cognitive functions in your brain and keeps it healthy. Keith Stanovich used the author recognition test, which predicts reading skill, to figure out that people that read have a 50% larger vocabulary and a 50% larger fact-based knowledge than people who don't read. And like puzzles and games, reading can exercise your brain, slowing the progress of or even preventing Alzheimer's and dementia in old age. Your brain needs to be exercised and worked out just like the rest of your body in order to remain strong and healthy. Reading can also improve your memory. When you read a book, you have to remember all the different characters, settings, and plot points in order to keep everything straight. And when you remember things as you are reading, it strengthens your ability to remember other things. Reading can also help with focus problems. People are constantly on their phones checking multiple different apps at one time. When you take the time out of your day to focus on reading, it forces you to focus on one thing so that when you're done, you are more calm and focused than you were before reading. Improving your cognitive functions is important, but improving your emotional capacity is also important. Reading helps you build up empathy towards other people. During a study done at Harvard in 2013, people had to read some literary fiction books. Afterward, they were tested against people who didn't read the books to see which group had an easier time identifying emotions in other people. It was seen that the people who read had a much easier time identifying the emotions in the people and even relating to them. The leader of that study, David Kidd, thought that the more often people engage with complex characters in reading, the easier of a time they will have when interacting with other people. I think that Keith Oatley, a professor of cognitive psychology at the University of Toronto, says it perfectly. The most important characteristic of being human is that our lives are social. Fiction can augment and help us understand our social experience. A piece of fiction is a piece of consciousness being passed from mind to mind. When you're reading, you're taking a piece of that consciousness that you make your own. Reading helps you connect with the world around you in a more intellectual way. Reading helps with reducing stress, building up the cognitive functions in your brain, and with growing your empathy to the world around you. Reading at least a little more every day will greatly and positively impact your life. Keith Oatley, the psychology professor at University of Toronto, said, "As you identify with another person, a protagonist in the story, you enter into a piece of life that you wouldn't have otherwise known. You have emotions or circumstances that you wouldn't have otherwise understood." And he is 100% right. Reading lets people experience things they may never have been able to experience otherwise. Let a book take you on an adventure. Thank you.